That growling, sleazy, and unmistakable riff marked not only the beginning of the Arctic Monkeys' 2013 album AM, but also an entirely new era for the band. Released on the 9th of September 2013, AM explores themes of late-night partying, the uncertainty of having a romantic interest, and the sometimes loneliness or heartbreak these things can bring about. It is no coincidence that the very title of AM, besides just being the initials of the band's name, coincides with the letters used to describe the ante-meridian period, or morning. This album brought about a new aesthetic, sound, and even a new Elvis-like hairstyle for lead singer and lyricist Alex Turner, which together cemented the band's development from awkward teenagers hailing from Sheffield to a proper contemporary rock band with an influence beyond just the United Kingdom. While this album is musically extraordinary, merging elements of classic rock with 70s style glam rock and even elements of hip hop beats to make an extremely yet still very accessible record, it is the deep and intricate meaning behind Turner's lyrics that really display AM's full merits. With that very first song that I'm sure almost everyone knows, Do I Wanna Know, Turner transforms himself from an untouchable rock star into a vulnerable human, wanting to be reassured that his love is returned by the woman he loves. Lyrics that I knew very well and had heard hundreds of times took on a whole new meaning when I sat down and really listened to them. One that stood out was the line in the chorus, "Ever thought of calling when you've had a few? 'Cause I always do," where an expertly placed pause shows Turner admitting his feelings and just wanting to know if his admiration and attraction are reciprocated. Rather than just admit this, though, he instead uses the idea of drunk calling to hide his true feelings, a move I think a wide audience can relate to when it comes to being honest about your feelings for someone. As a music journalist said, there's something compelling about an international rock star being infatuated with a crush when talking about Alex Turner. And it's this familiarity which characterizes the lyrics of AM, which I think helped to make it such a popular and successful album. Another example of Turner's beautiful poetic lyricism comes in the song Arabella, where he describes the girl he is after singing, and when she needs to shelter from reality, she takes a dip in my daydreams. Basically, it's a very sophisticated and slick way to say that he cannot get this girl out of his head. But rather than say that, Turner paints a picture that he is under her control in a far more interesting, charming, and colorful way. While it is an album that a lot of people have heard many times and may be a bit sick of, listening to this record again with a focus on the lyrics and their deep, subtle meaning takes it to a whole nother dimension. It may not be the most figuratively written piece of music, and whose simple and relatively easy to understand lyrics pale in comparison to the complicated literary genius of artists like Bob Dylan, but I think this is in some ways to its merit. Not only does it make it easier for a generation like ours to accept, but it also allows a wider audience to relate to the themes and the universal feelings Turner explores through it. Personally, I think it is a tremendous success for a contemporary take on an album, and I think it deserves all the praise and playing it has received, even if I might have almost heard Do I Wanna Know too many times.